Good evening, everybody. Just a short, quick video. Kind of want some opinions on some stuff or some suggestions. So this isn't a tool one. This is a kind of a camping one. I'm going to try to start doing more variety of videos on my channel here. I've mostly just been doing like home garage tool stuff. But anyway, so I know this is really far away from camping season, but for me, it really isn't because I'm going to be going camping in December, just myself. But um, I'm going to be going on a trip with my daughter next year for hopefully, I think it's 14 days that I've got roughly planned out. So I'll have to pick out the days and arrange it with her mom. But I'm just kind of starting to work on this now because I just need some things to keep my mind occupied right now. So I like fiddling and figuring this stuff out. It gives me something to do. So for my previous setup where I went camping before, I used to have a big black tub that would take up the whole width of this this top here. And it had like my kitchen stuff in it, my stove, things like that, but also just like your general camping supplies like lanterns and whatnot. And it was a real pain all the time to have to sort through everything to get to what you need. Usually you had to pull a bunch of stuff out, and sometimes you're having to set it on the ground and it's getting rained on or wet or whatever. And it drove me nuts. I nearly never liked that setup. And so I'm kind of thinking of ways I can streamline it a little bit better. And I also wanted the ability to pull over on the side of the road and cook a meal without having to completely empty out the back of the Jeep to get to what I needed to get to. So, because for people who are familiar with Jeeps, there's really not a lot of storage in the back. And then I've also built this drawer system, and what's in there is like my recovery gear, some spare parts, tools, things like that for when I'm in the backcountry. And I still want to keep it that way because I like how it gives me a flat surface. It's easier to load in and out, and it gives me easier access to stuff. Again, if I had that stuff buried under all my camping gear, then I have to dig it out to recover myself. So I prefer this system, but it does eat up some of my storage space. So what I found a few months ago was this is actually a Czechoslovakian army medical box from like the late 70s, I think. So, 40 years old, brand new from what I could tell, never used. Like one of the stores we have in Canada here for American viewers is called Princess Autumn. Sometimes they get army surplus stuff, kind of like the Canadian Harbor Freight, but yeah, they get like army surplus stuff for sometimes. So I found this and I've decided to turn it into my kitchen box. So in this box up here, this clear one, I just kind of packed this tonight. I'm just, like I said, I'm figuring out how things are going to go. I've got an old Coleman heater in there. There's toilet paper, as you can see. There's rope for like clotheslines and stuff. I've got an air mattress repair kit. There's bug spray, 2 lanterns and a flashlight. There's fuel for the stove. There's, things like that. So I think paper towel, so that's all in there. So now this is now the kitchen setup. So this will allow me, if I kind of do it this way, where I don't have to pull everything out of the back of the Jeep to cook. So that was the sleeve that the book that listed all the contents was in. There, it's 1979. There you go. So that's my cutting board. The top drawer here. I made these dividers out of one of the shelves that was in this thing. So that's just like, tin foil. Those are lids for pop cans, some salt and pepper. I'll probably throw some more spices in this eventually. Just quick, cheap utensils, old things, old silver I had. I just have enough silverware right now for 2 people because that's who's going to be going. So that's the top drawer. The middle drawer's got the stove. There's the lighter for the stove. Just an extra spoon that fits better in this drawer, and an old crescent wrench for tightening up the valve or whatever. The hose is inside the stove. That stove is from 1985. It survived a house fire. So it's like been barbecue painted, but it still works mint. It's awesome. Never had a problem with that stove. So, and then the bottom drawer fits the other stuff. Now, one thing that's missing out of here is I need to replace some pots and pans that I had that I no longer have. So they're they're just off of Amazon. I can't remember what brand they were, but like the lids were the frying pans, and then they had like the handle that came off, and so they all just kind of fit together, kind of like one of those Russian doll type things. So that should fit here if I move these out of the way. And I got a couple plates here. I have an old cast iron frying pan on the bottom here that if I don't have room for it, I'll get rid of it. And then I had made a holder on the side of the box here to hold the propane tanks. I just use those small green ones, but I didn't like how it was fitting up against that rail. So I'd take it off because I discovered I can fit one there, and they won't stand up. They're like half an inch too tall to stand up. I got to fit one there, and I have a second one actually inside my kettle. It fit just inside the kettle. So I can have 2 propane tanks, and this stove sips propane. So like I'll probably make sure I've got like at least one half one one that like maybe a full one. Then I can always like go buy individual ones wherever I need to. So, and then I've got, a couple bowls down here. There's plates, my cooking spray, some extra forks and knives, quick ones, coffee mug for me, kind of a coffee small mug with a lid for my daughter, and then we'll both have our water bottles too. So that'll be good enough for us for camping. That's for her hot chocolate or whatever, and we'll have her water bottle and probably some juice boxes for her. She's 4, going to be turning 5 next fall, so she's just little. So my old oven mitts and stuff. So those pots and should fit in here. Should. I don't foresee a problem. And then should have a little bit of room for some extra things if I need. So that's like that. And then this here is a shelf. And that'll only be really used once I'm actually at a site and I'm staying. I'll pull this out and I can set this on top of a picnic table or another table that I have. And then that actually attaches to the side here. So I can put the stove on top if I want. And then I've got a shelf over here to put it on too for more prep area. But the way it is now, like I can access that while I'm in the back of the Jeep. And then so if I'm pulling into a parking lot or on the side of the road or somewhere really quick where I don't want to set up my table, I have this table on the back of my Jeep that I built a few years ago. So that actually kind of works out really good. I've got my stove here. You can just throw it on there. I'll have all my like my cutlery and stuff right here. The only thing I'll have to do is I don't think I'm going to have room in the back for my cooler. So that's probably going to be in the back seat, which isn't a huge deal. And I'll probably put my food box on the side there too again, so then I don't have to really dig through everything. My dry good box will be in the back as well as my cooler, so that'll just be through the side door. So that's, it'd be nice if it was all together, but not the end of the world. I am playing with the idea of getting like one of those electric fridges. Playing around with the idea of that because, like I said, I've typed for space. And I've been watching some reviews online on them, and one of the things that they mentioned today that I never really thought of is that, usually take up about a third of your cooler space with your ice. Now, usually I use block ice. I'll use like water bottles. I'll just freeze them because that ice lasts longer. But that's one of the things where, if I don't have to put ice in it, I can run a smaller cooler. So I might look at getting a fridge one. And then what I could possibly do is move this way. And depending on the size of the cooler, I've thought about putting it over here, maybe like a little platform or something for it, and maybe making like a pull-out for it. I haven't quite decided yet. Right now, I'll probably just stick with the cooler because I already have the cooler. And it's one less thing that I have to buy, but it's definitely something that's on my radar. I do have a plug-in back here now if I need to, but like I'm trying to find ways because like I already have a lot of stuff. I know I carry a lot of things, but I'm one of those guys that I'd rather have it and not need it versus need it and not have it. And there's some things in here that are in here all the time. Like there's more recovery stuff over there and extra fluids and stuff because a lot of times I'm in the middle of nowhere. And there's also like a camping grill over here and a hatchet and a little saw and stuff and more survival stuff. Like there's a water bottle in there and a water filter and stuff. So some of that stuff I get moved around. And I'm also toying with the idea of building like a little platform on top of the wheel well there. And this Jeep, I'm not planning on getting rid of it. So, me drilling holes in it or cutting or welding stuff to it, I don't have a problem doing that because I don't hopefully never have to sell this thing. So anyway, yeah. So like this way, the way I've got it set up now, just have to get the food out of the side compartment, like the side door, the back here. But this will work. I can camp. If I leave it like that, I can pull over on the side of the road somewhere and I've got my little galley right here. And that would work awesome. So, yeah, let me know if you guys have any suggestions or ideas. I'm not sure how many Jeep people will see this, but anybody who camps, give me an idea. Like, I'm trying to minimize how much stuff I have. That's why I've gone with these, something else that's not in this box that I have to get is a new wash basin. So I've got one of those ones from before and just doesn't fit very well. So I'm going to get one of those collapsible ones and then it should just fit right in the very bottom. So shouldn't have a problem fitting it that way. But yeah, I think also just the look of that, it's just retro cool. I think it's pretty badass. And I like that it's got these handles on the side so I can strap it down if I need to. Like I've got this anchor point here. So if need be, I could also screw another anchor point in down here, just screw it into the top. But no, that gives me that gives me the ability, like I said, to cook on the side of the road and just away I go. Because we're not going to be eating out. We're not going to be making, McDonald's runs. We're going to be doing, like, my daughter likes to do what I call grazing lunches. She likes eating when we're on road trips. We'll go for like day trips and hikes or whatever. And she likes having just cut up vegetables and raisins and cheese and crackers and sausage and those kinds of things, those kinds of lunches. So I'm planning on making a lot of those for us to do while we're in the vehicle. And the way I've got the trip plan, we're only be doing like 3 or 4 hour drives at the most every day. So not too bad. And not every day, like every few days, but we could pull into like a gas station, fuel up, and then I could pull over to the side and make us a quick hot lunch. Like I could easily like fry up some grilled cheese sandwiches or something too. So options. But anyway, so then I'll have that cargo area there, and then I'll have this. She sits on the passenger side. So that's where her car seat is. She's still in it's in a booster seat now, but so I'll have from about here over. So I'll put my cooler on. I wish there was a way that I could easily split. Like, I'm actually contemplating too. I've thought about for a longer trip, moving her car seat to this side and like detaching that other side of the seat somehow, but that'd be a lot of work. I have pulled the seats up before and they're a real pain in the ass. But anyway, like I could put my cooler there and a small dry goods bin could fit down here, so I do have that option. But I think for this trip next summer too, even though I like running the soft top in the summertime, for us to be getting in and out lots and unpacking all the time, the zipper on my back window is a real pain in the butt. And I can never get the other side to work, so I'll be having to come in and out. So I think I'm going to leave the hardtop on because it's just way easier to get in and out. So anyway, sorry I rambled on so much. But so if anybody has any suggestions, ideas, I'd like the input. This winter for my solo one, I think I'm doing an ice fishing trip. Just myself, just an overnight one. So it all depends on how cold it is and the weather and stuff. I don't really want to be camping in a blizzard, but I've done worse. So anyway, I'm going to end this video now finally. Sorry. And everybody take care. Appreciate you watching. Thank you.